What happened in Elena Rybakina's extraordinary practice session before her win over Jessica Pegula? Elena Rybakina continues to deliver at the Australian Open. The Kazakh defeated Kaya Juvan, Varvara Gracheva, Teresa Valentova, Elise Mertens, and Iga Swiatek in straight sets to reach the semifinals. There, Rybakina defeated Jessica Pegula 6-3, 7-6, to qualify for her third Grand Slam final. From a distance, it looks like it's been smooth sailing for Rybakina down under. However, that hasn't necessarily been the case. Commentating for BBC Radio 5 Live, Annabel Croft revealed what happened between Rybakina and her coach, Stefano Vukov, before her win over Pegula. Elena Rybakina walked away from Stefano Vukov during extraordinary practice session. It was extraordinary, that practice, said Croft, because it didn't end well and she wasn't able to hit a forehand in the court. Her coach, Stefano Vukov, was really going at her about the swing and trying to talk to her, and she walked away from him at one point. Then he carried on and was trying to show her the swing. I have no idea if they went back out onto any other court before they went into this match. But when things like that get slightly into your head, and clearly it was in his head as well, that when the pressure is really at its height, maybe that becomes a little bit of a problem. Recovering from a tricky practice session, Rybakina beat Pegula to set up an Australian Open final with Aryna Sabalenka. Croft isn't sure why nobody picked the Kazakh as a potential winner, given she is now just 2 sets away from the title. I can't think of anyone saying her name as a winner, to be honest, she said. It wasn't until she was sort of creeping through and getting to the quarterfinals, we suddenly thought, hang on a minute, she's serving rather well, hitting the ball really efficiently from the back of the court. When you think she won the WTA Championships beating Aryna Sabalenka in the final back in November. It's like, why on earth have we ruled her out? Rybakina beat Sabalenka to win her first WTA Finals title last November, but trails the Belarusian 6-8 in their head-to-head. Elena Rybakina and Aryna Sabalenka's head-to-head record. She also lost their one previous Australian Open meeting in the 2023 final. Sabalenka fought back from a set down to win 4-6, 6-3, 6-4. Only time will tell who will emerge victorious this time around. Sabalenka and Rybakina will meet in the 2026 Australian Open final on Saturday, January 31st. Pat Cash thinks Elena Rybakina will feel pretty relaxed before the Australian Open final. Former Wimbledon champion Pat Cash delivered his verdict on Rybakina's semi-final win. It's hard to believe she hasn't dropped a set when you look at the back end of that second set. It looked a pretty average set, he said. Jessica Pegula fought really well. She wasn't so good the first set and a half, but she hung in there pretty well. That was all she could do at that stage. Rybakina will feel a lot better, actually. She will go into the final pretty relaxed. During her post-match interview, Rybakina suggested she may go shopping on Friday to try to relax before playing her third major final. Before the storm, a calm on paper. As the sun set over Melbourne Park, the world saw Elena Rybakina, the tall, stoic Kazakh, gliding through the early rounds of the 2026 Australian Open with seemingly effortless power and control. Her serves thundered, her ground strokes roared, and no opponent had yet robbed her of a set. To most observers, her trajectory was serene, almost majestic, an unstoppable force hurtling toward Grand Slam glory. But underneath that calm facade, something more tumultuous was unfolding. The practice they didn't expect. A couple of days before Rybakina's semi-final showdown with Jessica Pegula, a match that would ultimately earn her a place in the final, insiders noticed something unusual during one of her training sessions. What should have been a routine practice turned into an event commentators could hardly ignore. With BBC Radio 5 Live analyst Annabel Croft calling the shots, a scene began to unfold that was far from normal. Instead of confident, rhythmic hitting, the court became the stage for a rare glimpse into the struggle behind elite performance. The words extraordinary and tense were used, and with good reason. A technical struggle unfolds. Rybakina, known for her powerful baseline game and devastating serve, was working with her coach, Stefano Vukov, on a technical detail many fans might assume she'd perfected long ago, her forehand. But this wasn't a minor tweak or gentle refinement. According to observers' descriptions, Rybakina was visibly struggling with the shot. Instead of the usual fluid rhythm of hitting, there were hesitations, corrections, and frustration. At one point, the normally composed player walked away, not off the court, but away from her coach's demonstration. Whether it was disagreement, a need for space, or simply mental overload, she physically distanced herself from the guidance Vukov was offering. The kind of walk-away moment that speaks more than 1,000 technical pointers. This wasn't just practice. It was a psychological moment, a crack in the armor that might unsettle less mentally resilient athletes. Doubt on the court. For an elite player this deep in a slam, technical doubts can be dangerous. Late-stage tournaments are as much psychological games as physical contests. When self-doubt creeps in, the tiniest hesitation can unravel months of preparation. Croft herself remarked on the uncertainty. She wasn't even sure if Rybakina and Vukov had truly resolved the issue by match day. And that's telling, because such unresolved doubts have a way of resurfacing on the biggest stage, under the fiercest pressure. In tennis, a late technical panic can be more disruptive than any opponent's shot. The calm before the clash. After that session, a quiet settled back over Rybakina's camp. Whether they found resolution or buried it, became a tantalizing undercurrent as media speculation swirled. Journalists and pundits could sense tension, even as Rybakina's demeanor remained outwardly composed. Critics wondered, would this unease show up in her match against Pegula? Would an exposed vulnerability be exploited? Many expected a close, grueling battle, and the semifinal definitely delivered, but not in the way those doubters imagined. From practice struggles to match mastery. On the night of the semifinal, Rybakina walked onto Rod Laver Arena against Pegula, an American with a powerful all-court game and a relentless competitive streak. Pegula, resilient and versatile, was coming off strong performances and looking to make her own Grand Slam final breakthrough. But what happened next was a dramatic twist in the story. Rather than being undone by her own technical woes, Rybakina delivered one of her most commanding performances of the tournament. She carried her signature serve, heavy, precise, and intimidating, throughout the night, dictating play and forcing Pegula into uncomfortable exchanges. The first set ended 6-3 in Rybakina's favor, a display of control and power that bewildered those who remembered the tense training session.